good.
What'd you guys do?
Nothing.
I missed one meeting.
That's not mine.
That's this one.
I mean,
Plug it back in.
Turn yours on, Carrie. Can you put that in safe mode, please? All right, Carrie.
all right. Let's call our special board of trustee meeting minute. Oh, good Lord. Try again. Let's try to call our special board of trustees meeting for Wednesday, June 24th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. to order. Roll call, please.
Sine Hubbard.
Here.
Owen Costanza.
Here.
Dave Allgood.
Here.
Aaron Zito.
Here.
Christy Richardson.
Here.
Jeff Goings.
Here.
Dan Cheek.
Here.
Mark Vance.
Here.
Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
We're gonna.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No phone participation. Do we have a motion to approve this agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This agenda is passed. No public comment?
Nope.
All right, do we need to take a motion for it, Aaron? To
I'm
open it? Do we have to take a
You
motion?
can just open the,
Okay.
the hearing.
So let us open the hearing on the Airport Museum appeal. Does it matter who I start?
Would typically be the person who's
Okay.
asking for the appeal.
Okay, so Anna or Greg, would you like to, is there a microphone? over
There's a microphone down there. You'll have to turn it on. But
I don't even know what this is about. I don't have anything on the packet for it.
there? There's a special.
There was a.
Yep.
oh, did I not print yours? Hold on.
I don't have one.
Hold on.
Here, hang on.
It's right here. Hold on.
They're appealing. Didn't you read the such on the agenda? They're appealing.
Do you want to print your packet? They can start. If you want to start, Anna, I'll just print him.
Go ahead and start.
Yep.
Thank you for meeting us here tonight. My name is Greg Fowler. I'm the president of the board of directors at the museum, and this is Anna Pavors. She's our executive director. Like I said, this is an appeal. We were classified as an A2. We think the classification should be an A3. If I have the classifications here, if you want a copy of it, you can look at it. If not, then I'll just go on a little bit about it. The very first line in the paragraph in the 2021 International Building Code, it states that occupancy classification is a formal designation of the primary purpose. An A2 is, in the next paragraph, is 303.3, and that includes uses like restaurants, banquet halls, and bars. Their primary purpose is food and drink. Assembly Group 3 is worship, recreation, amusement, and includes all kinds of different things. It's a very broad, includes bowling alleys, community halls, museums, things like that. These businesses often, in fact, I don't think I can ever been in a bowling alley that is not selling food, but they're still in A3 because their primary purpose is bowling. So the museum, we have been there for 27 years now. During that year, we have numerous events, some catered, some not. We award scholarships. We have an air academy where we train younger kids to aviation. We do all kinds of things, but we also have other events that don't really have a whole lot to do with aviation, but what they do have to do with is supporting our mission. And that is to bring people in and gain some money. We are a self-funded 501(c) museum, and so membership money is just simply not enough. So we need to have events. Because we have been around for so many years, our collection has grown substantially. And as a result of that, for us to have any kind of event requires us to reorganize the whole thing. Very often we have been, the last couple times, we've had to push stuff outside. We push the different displays up against each other, whatever we can do to open up space. So we need to change that. We don't have the support that we need in order to do that all the time. So we needed to have more space to have more events. And then, of course, after the event was done, then we had to put it all back together again. So when it became obvious that we had an option, and that was to take the restoration hangar and use that space, because we've built aircraft there and just finished with an aircraft. But we're not going to plan on doing that for a while, so let's use that space for something else. We'll expand the museum, and so that's what we ended up trying to do, is we want to expand the museum into the restoration hangar. What we would do is that we have several large displays. One of those is the first fire truck going by Poplar Grove. It's a really cool display. Right now it's sitting in basically a storage hangar. We moved it out of the main hangar at the main museum because we need the room. We've moved some of the fire equipment, so we want to move that, put that on display. But because we don't have room in the main museum, that would be in the restoration hangar. We have some other displays. We have a Peton pole, which is an aircraft, home-built aircraft from 1929. And actually, May 20th was the 100-year anniversary of this aircraft. And we want to hang that. We're going to either, depending upon what our architect says we can do, either hang it on the wall or hang it from the ceiling. We also have other things that we can put on the walls. We have a storage area where we have a lot of stuff that we've never been able to display. So we want to put that stuff as much as we can over also into the restoration hangar. So the result of all that would be is we would have the main museum, we'd have an annex, or the other part of the museum would be in the restoration hangar, also displays in there. It would open up some floor space so we could have some small things in the museum. Plus, we could have things in the restoration hangar for a lot more people than we can do right now. Excuse me. We're planning on approximately about 160 people is what we would do, and we'd be that would allow us to have the events, display things without having to move things around, without the possibility of damaging things, because that's always a possibility too. All food and drink consumption would be event driven, provided by caterers. We don't have a kitchen or even cleanup facilities in the restoration hangar. It's all would all be done by caterers and would happen on an occasional basis. We have tables or a place for the caterers to set up, but that's it. So basically, and obviously we are a museum. The restoration hangar / annex is an extension of the museum and will operate at the same times, dates as the main museum. And therefore, since it's a part of the museum, we believe it should be classified as an A3 because that's what its primary mission is. If we had one event every week in our annex, that's only 52 days out of 365 days. Again, it's an occasional use. The main mission, again, is displaying our artifacts.
Yes, I do. The primary reason we would like to change designations is because, did you want to go into that? Okay. With the A2 status that we were given, if we have 99 or 100 people or more, they were going to require us to put in a sprinkler system, which I've think clocks in at about $40,000 more from our budget that we're just trying to do this to help sustain our museum financially. So that would really essentially put a kibosh on the project. So if we were able to get into the A3 classification, then we could have up to 300 people without the requirement of a sprinkler system. So I would say that's the main reason.
The other part of that is that while the A3 designation allows up to 300 people, we would actually be limited to whatever the fire people say that we could do based on. I was talking to one of the fire department people, and they said, well, yeah, they take the size of the building and they calculate how many people could be in there, and then they calculate, and it's how many people could be in there with movable tables. And it's a certain percentage of that, and that's what we would actually be limited to. But right now, we're planning on about 160.
Are you concluded? I don't want to.
Yes, I'm-
Okay, I just want to pass it the baton then to Ken so he can have his, and then the board can have their questions.
Thank you. First of all, we all support the airport. Wonderful things that you're doing at the airport. So just want to say that first of all. This is strictly a code matter. And as a code official, we have some liberty to make interpretations of the code. In this particular case, the code is fairly black and white, where it talks about different types of uses. And the key with the uses are when you're determining uses, you're considering square footage amounts and the number of people and how long it takes someone to exit a building. That's the idea behind it. And there's over the years a number of incidents where the code has an incident where there's a fire and sometimes unfortunately deaths, and the code then reacts to that. Unfortunately, it's reactionary where things happen first and then they adjust the code accordingly. The A2 criteria is if the area has over 5,000 square feet, which we do not have in this case, or it has over 100 people, or there is an exit issue where it exits at a different level of discharge, which does not apply either. So the only criteria that applies here is the number of occupants. And the code is fairly clear about when you have an A2 and the code doesn't, unfortunately, the code doesn't care about money, what it costs someone to do, even though the reality is we all care about what things cost, but the code it's not one of the considering factors. So we look at what the use is, and even though the use, we can, I guess, debate primary use versus secondary use versus accessory use, whatever it is, the code looks at it as, hey, when we look at a use of a building, we look at the worst case scenario, and that's what applies to the code, because even if you only do it once and an incident happens, the incident happened, right? There's nothing. So we base our criteria based on the particular use. And you can have multiple uses within one building. You can have office use and assembly use. You can have all sorts of different mixes. And when you have that, then that particular use that you're looking at, those different sections apply based on the use of that portion of the building. So for example, if you looked at, some of the big museums in Chicago, for example, you have the museum part and then you have like an eating or cafeteria area. Well, those can be two different uses depending on the number of people and how it's used. So unfortunately, I don't have the liberty to waive something that the code clearly spells out of what's the requirement. My concern is that if we allow it here, then we could have a restaurant that comes in and then they would question whether they could get that relief from the sprinkler requirement. You can sprinkler anything. Yes, there's a cost. No doubt about it. The reality is there's a cost. So, but approving this appeal could have long-term effects down the road when other users want to come in. And if you grant this, then what do we do with the next user that says, I want relief as well? And where does it stop? And that's my concern. My concern is safety always. And the code is the minimum standard. So that's kind of where, from a code perspective, kind of where it sits. So Greg is correct. A2 versus A3, there's a distinction. A3 is typically 12,000 square feet and more than 300 people. A2 is, as I said, caps at 5,000 square feet and over 100 people. And it's just, if there were to be an incident, how long does it take to get everybody out? And if it takes too long, then people are subject to danger. And we have the ability to prevent that. And hence, that's why the code is I guess, strict in this particular aspect. So happy to answer any questions.
Board, any questions for?
What is it currently? What group is it currently? A2.
Why is there such a difference between A2 and A3 that doesn't require with the square footage and the smaller amount does require?
Because first of all, we always have to classify the use of a building. And when you mix in food and drink, and it could be alcohol or not alcohol, but I don't know if any of you know, but people drink and they make poor choices, right? So when alcohol is mixed into it, the code requirements become more strict because people are slow reacting. And there's a number of historical situations where we had incidents where, and a lot of times it happens in areas where they serve liquor and people perish. I mean, that's the bottom line is what happens. So yes, go ahead.
Is there any way, like they said it's like $40,000, is there any way that you would be satisfied if we cut down the amount of sprinkler system to help them with the cost and still feel confident that it would do its job? Or is that too far-fetched?
Well, nothing is too far-fetched, first of all. Sprinkler systems are designed, right? They follow a standard. They follow the NFP 13 standard. If you don't meet the standard, then it's as if the system isn't installed because it's got a very strict adherence, and then it has to be tested by the fire district and what have you. And so I don't know how, we can look into anything. Anything is possible, but I just can talk to you in general. Sprinkler systems they're calculated and designed based on criteria. And when you deviate from that, it's hard. First of all, it's hard to get it insured because you don't have a system. It's not my job. My job is not about insurance, but I'm just saying, I won't probably speak on it more than anybody, but I'm just saying, maybe, I guess is my answer.
Well, it's whatever the municipality granted. So the sprinkler system gets your credit. And that 40,000 estimate might be low. The projects I've been involved in town, our water pressure is a little bit low, and the ones that we've looked at needs a booster. So that 40,000 estimate might be low because we've had to look at extra tanks on roofs when we've looked in the past, Ken, if you recall.
Yeah. So when you're on a well, right, it takes a bunch
worse.
of,
So,
it requires some,
tank. Yeah, they have to have a tank.
requires tanks and
Yep.
pressure
Yep.
so that it can operate properly. And it's designed based on the number of heads and the type of system you have. And you're right. If it had public water, those are different issues because sometimes you don't have enough flow.
Yeah, we don't have enough pressure.
And you got to put boosters in, you got to do and obviously it all adds to cost, right?
Have you two, as the directors of the museum, have you looked at the financials for insurance? What your discount is, and by having the sprinkler system, what your offset would be over a 10-year period, or it's going to eventually pay for itself. With the safety concerns, maybe you would have a better rate on your insurance. I'm just curious. Did you weigh any of that?
The ROI on that would not
It
be.
wouldn't?
It would take decades to get a cost recouped on that.
You're not helpful.
Sorry, it is what it is.
Okay,
I'm curious. The fire department has hundreds of people over there, and I don't have fire. I know it was built before all the codes and stuff, but what is that rating and stuff?
Can you repeat the question?
I mean, the fire department zoning, or is that exempt because it's owned by the taxpayers from all of this? Because I mean, they have hundreds of peoples over there for the street dances, and they rent it out every weekend. So
Yeah.
plenty of alcohol there.
I don't know anything about it, Owen. You'd have to. Owen. If we had to look into it, then we would look into it.
Oh,
And
I've gone that route before. It's not worth it. So
okay, yes. So
I'm
Thank
just
you.
saying it does happen in the town all the time from various things.
things happen every day, right?
Yep.
Again, it doesn't make it
Right.
right just because people do it.
So Ken, your bottom line is you don't recommend that we would,
I think there's a long term
affect.
caution that you should
Yeah.
be aware of. Again, I'm all for the airport to progress and
Absolutely.
move on.
Right, we all are.
You know, but
But it's like, how do you put a price on someone's safety? I remember in the builder here in the beginning when I got on the board, the additional cost for a fire escape window was like $500 at the time of building. The builder's like, well, I'm going to have to, put that on the cost for the customer. It's like, okay, so are you $500? Isn't it worth someone's life? Put it on. It's code now. You got to start building all the houses with those fire escape windows. And it was a $500 upcharge to the person buying it, which is a no-brainer. I would rather have it, a fire escape window than not having one in my basement.
so I've been around a couple of years.
Yeah.
So every time the code requires something new, at one point we had smoke detectors on every floor, and that was it. Now we have them in every bedroom and down the hall to the bedrooms, and on every floor as well. And when we decided we wanted GFIs in bathrooms and kitchens to prevent electrocution, they all complained, saying it was going to make too expensive for the builder to put. All those things happen all the time, and look, we get taxed on all sorts of things, right? We have to adjust, right? And we don't like it, but there's only certain things we can control, so we do the best we can. So Anna wants to say something.
So first of all, I will say that safety is absolutely our number one concern as well. We've had lengthy conversations about it. But what I would like to discuss is, or I would like you to explain to us why we are still being what makes us an A2 if clearly in the code it states that museums, will be our primary function. This will be an additional building that will be open to the public on a daily basis. So why would we still be considered an A2?
Excellent question. Yes. So as I said, when you review a building based on uses, you look at each use. Yes, museums are A3s. That is correct. But when you add in, and we call it a banquet hall, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's a gathering of people, right? More than 100. And you serve food, whether you cook it yourselves or you cater it in, it is the same thing at the end of the day. That piece becomes an A2 because it's more people, it's mingling, it's just a different animal versus the A3. The museum part, people come and they walk around, they look at things and they ask questions and what have you, and that's fine. But when you mix in the A2 with dining and drinking and could be dancing, I don't know. I understand maybe there'll be weddings there, maybe there won't be, but I'm just saying it's a different activity. And so the code looks at those activities and based on experience has said this is the criteria for that. Yes.
So you had made some emphasis on the alcoholic beverages, so I was looking for that bullet point and I found it. It says service facilities for alcoholic beverages and food. I feel like that could be interpreted, they're not providing it, they're having it brought in. However, I wanted to ask you two if you'd be willing to scale back on that piece of it, if that would make a difference. Because Ken did emphasize when people are intoxicated, they're slower, things move, so I just trying to mitigate that part of it.
Good point.
Well, first of all, our museum, like Greg said, has existed for 27 years. We've done the same things there. We scoot exhibits around. We host 150 plus people in there regularly. We've never had an issue with alcohol consumption. We've never had that issue, but I will say that when we do, we always use a licensed bartender, Bassett trained. They're trained to not overserve people. When you say scale back, do you mean eliminate or do you mean?
You'd almost have to.
Yeah, I feel like it's either
Would
one
you
or
be
the other.
willing to do that? Would that be something that you could put on the table?
I'm not sure that that would make us a viable. I'm not sure
I'm
that
just
that would
putting
make
it out
our
It could put a
endeavor
hurt on the
viable
venue
if we
for
did that.
rentals, I'm sure.
What?
I said it could put a hurt on your rentals for
Yes,
a venue.
it would for sure.
I'd like to also interject a moment. So then just for the board's, clarification. So, if the appeal is not changed to the different classification, then what that would ultimately potentially mean is that there could be, if the board was willing to entertain a different amendment to the code to allow it. We've done some of that in the past on different circumstances. So for example, this number that Ken has provided and the code provides right now is 100. That number could be changed to a higher number to better entertain the request. So I want to put that on the radar as well as if this part of this fails in that regard, that could be the other potential mechanism if the board chooses to entertain that.
You were saying the 2 is capped at 5,000 feet, right? 5,000 square foot? Ken?
A2.
Yes, correct.
And A2
Adding
is
this
12,000.
It's
extra part of the building, is it still under the 5,000?
this part is under
I
5,000.
mean, the combined total. of the
It's
two-
called, yeah, let me just clarify. It's called fire area. So it's not necessarily the building size. It's the area in which you conduct that particular activity. That activity, I think it's 3,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
something like that. Yes. So it's under 5,000, but the criteria is you have to meet each one of those conditions. And so really the only condition that we're talking about is the number of occupants that are going to be in the building at any one time. And I realize that some events would be under, some events will be over. I mean, I recognize that it's also possible. So, we recognize that fact. So, yes, Jeff.
What about if you added more exits? Would that be of any satisfaction? I don't know how many exits.
I don't know. The code doesn't, it doesn't give that option because, the code works where it says, here's your requirements. Then it says, here's the exceptions to the rule. So it gives you this hard and fast rule, and then it provides these exceptions. Those exceptions don't exist in this
I mean,
particular
we're trying
case.
to help accommodate.
I get that. I understand that.
Sure, we want the museum. It's a great piece for our village. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And I want to support them and help them get through this. But I mean, we got to look at safety. I mean, if there's an option where we could put in 2 more, 3 more exits, I would be kind of okay because then you have more options for people to get out in a faster pace.
I mean, we would
But-
have to analyze it. I
Right.
can't answer
Well, I
that right
think
now.
This is something that maybe you should go down and look at and see what their options are and maybe come back to us and present us. We'll say, okay, here's something that would make me comfortable. I went down, I looked at it. Maybe we could put a couple more doors in, a couple more windows or whatever. Just trying to help them out so they don't have to incur those costs because a lot of their money is fundraisers, fundraising, there's contributions made to the museum. I've seen the mystery dinners, things like that. They're trying to keep the museum alive, and we definitely want to do that.
Sure, I understand.
Ken, do we have any input from the actual people that would supply the emergency services from North Boone 2? Do we have any recommendations?
They are aware of the situation, and we all follow the same codes. So we say, so there's the building code that regulates this particular piece. The fire code is which the fire district references, as well as NFPA standards. It's the language is exactly the same.
Did they have any on the appeal part? Did they have any input, or do they not know?
It's interesting because they are their own jurisdiction, right?
Right.
And so theoretically, if we gave an appeal, then they would have to look at their their agency and say,
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, we could say yes, and then they could just say no.
They-
and,
they
and
could.
supersede us. So
It-
have we?
it's
we're not
possible.
asked. I mean,
Yeah.
Generally the village is the leader in this area, but not always. In fairness, we need to work together
Right.
on things. And
well, I would be curious to hear their input because they came up with some resolutions on the hangars when we built those with the audible alarms outside and
Yeah.
things like that. So
I mean, I can meet with them and talk more. I wanted to do this first to see kind of where we, what the feeling was on the board level of what we wanted to do.
I
And
would-
so,
yeah, I would really love to hear the opinion of the people that are actually providing all of those services that we don't.
sure.
And because they're the ones that are going to be held, they're going to have to react. They're going to have to, do all that stuff.
Look,
You also said we all follow the same rules. Right?
yeah, I mean,
But to your own words, you said you weren't sure what was happening in certain other places. We need to make sure we're consistent.
Well, that's, yeah, and you was talking about there, District 3, yeah, versus District 2. This is District 2, but yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
Different districts.
So,
sure.
but still within the village.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
But I
I
mean-
get it.
Right, but we do need their input for sure. I mean, if we're gonna say yes and then they say no and then their word is final.
But I would love to hear the
I
recommendation.
would like to hear what they say as well.
Yeah.
I would like to have, when you get a minute, go down and look at it, see if there's an option that would make you feel comfortable. I mean, you're good at your job, you know what you're doing. I mean, but if there's a way that we can help them to, get around this and still be safe.
We are talking about exits. It is a hangar. So the hangar door does open. You push a button and a 50-foot door opens up.
But if
The
the
whole
power's
one
out-
side of the building opens.
But the power's out, the door doesn't open.
In addition, we also have a garage door on the side and then the regular entrance door and another exit door.
So there's two exit doors.
There's
3 exits.
3 doors.
Well, I'm just
Three
saying,
doors, a garage door,
But
and a
I'm
hangar door.
saying if it's applicable to add a few more to help you out, I think that's a good investment.
I
It's
would
a lot
agree with that.
cheaper to add
Yes.
few
I mean,
doors
adding a
than
door
it is
would be actually very
$40,000
simple.
for a sprinkler system.
It's a
And
metal
that's how
building.
we
We just
stay
cut a
on
hole and it's
budget.
easy to do.
Right. I'm just trying to help
Yeah.
figure
No,
out.
I'm
thinking.
agreeing that yes, it would be very easy to add doors.
Great.
Well, Owen touching on the fire department, with safety, definitely need their input because in the case of a fire, they're the ones running in there.
Right.
So their opinion on safety supersedes anything because they're the ones that get to fight the fire. So I'm sure they're going to want themselves safe fighting the fire as well as getting the people out. So I think, discussing it with them definitely,
Going to be a key factor.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they might just no, like you said, they were
Yeah.
like, absolutely not. We're the ones that got to go in there
Yeah.
if it's on fire. And
let me
we
talk to them and let us look at whether additional exiting can make a difference. One second, Dave. I just want to clarify. An exit door is very limited to what types of exit qualifies. And what qualifies is it's a swinging door. Overhead doors don't qualify because they take, even though you could say we have power, what happens when you don't have power? Whether you can open manually, there's all sorts of things that when we look at exiting, we look at, hey, it shouldn't require any special knowledge or special effort to exit. So now, could we put exit doors in instead of the overhead door or manipulate it somehow and do something different? Anything's possible. I think we're open to solutions of what that is. But go ahead, Dave.
So this operation is currently Group A2. And the belief is that it should be Group A3.
No, they
And
want
my
to
question-
stay A2.
They want to change to A3.
They want to stay A2. So
No.
Wait, hang on.
they want to stay A3.
they want to
They-
change to A3.
They want to change. See, now the email I got from Carrie said that they were A2 and wanted to stay A2. So this is where I'm
No.
confused.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Aaron, please.
They have been classified by staff as A2 based off of the staff's interpretation of what the code says an A2 facility is. Okay. A2 facility in here says, it's a number of things, but it includes a banquet hall. Okay. A3 includes uses that are a museum along with other things.
Correct.
What I want to bring to the board's attention is while I think it is valid to consider things like doors, ways to help mitigate safety concerns, make it safer, for police or whatever. And I think those are all great. And I think they're valid things to look into there. At the end of the day, your guys' interpretation, this is about use. Okay. Whether you're an A2, A3, A4 is about what is the use of the space. Okay. So that's what you guys need to determine. Is this more museum like? Therefore, you can classify it as an A3, or is this, I don't want to say more there, but, or do you have a banquet use also here? Which then, and again, as Ken said, a building can have multiple uses in it, but if you have multiple uses, you're going to default to the lowest common denominator, right? Ken, is that a
At the
safe way to
highest
say it?
level of risk. Yeah.
Right there. So if you have museum and banquet use there, and it's more strict to have the banquet use is more strict, you're going to default to the requirement of the banquet use,
Yes, the higher risk.
the higher risk
Well-
there. Okay, so you guys need to determine what the question for you guys to determine is, what is the use? Should we designate this as A2 based off of what A2 uses are, or should we designate this A3 because of what A3 uses are? I think it's valid to look at, oh, well, how can we mitigate safety and this and that? But that's really not the question. The question is, what's the use?
Yeah, right. And like I say, and the preface to this that received an email says, occupancy class of that, there was a request from the museum regarding a change in occupancy classification from A3 to A2. And then there was another follow-up email that said, I misspoke. They want to remain A3. And the question I asked earlier, are they A2 presently? And the answer was yes.
Yep.
So at this point in time, I'm not even willing to make a decision until I get better information.
It's not what they are, what they aren't per se. Staff has designated them, and as the building officials, as A2, and therefore they do not disagree with that designation. So they are requesting that you guys change it to A3. That determination of what class are they.
And the reason that classification has come forward is because there have been plans submitted. They went through plan review, and during the plan review process, this classification was designated. So that is why we're at this point.
You're not wrong. Communication was wrong.
The communication was all horribly wrong on this.
But now, we're just trying to clear that up.
Right, and I understand that. This is.
So I think ultimately looking at the proposal, as to what they're doing there, and the drawings as to what, how things are going to be laid out, this and that, that's all data for you guys to determine, well, what do I think this is? What kind of uses do I think are going to be here?
Right, but are they gonna carry and flow over into the museum? Is there a kitchen there?
No, I think
Well,
with
I
the,
understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, it depends on how much they determine the uses.
Well,
and what.
Well, I mean, if we're
I
discussing
think what
the-
they're saying is they want to have the A3.
Right.
They also want to have events, right? And so what our engineer is telling us is you have to default. So it's a museum, it's a banquet hall, right? But you have to default to the higher risk, which is banquet.
Right. That would be the high
So
risk.
primary, this is a museum that we're talking about. That's the primary function of what this is. However, when we add a banquet to it, now it brings
Right,
it to a whole different category, which is the from what I understand, the highest risk scenario.
Absolutely. A lot
So
more
if they were
people.
going to say, hey, we're going to be a museum and we're never going to serve food, we're never going to have a party, we're never going to have people over, well, then that's a whole different conversation. But when we say, hey, we're a museum and we want to have food and we want to have a banquet and we want to have people over here exceeding this amount of people, then it falls into the banquet category, which is
A3
A2.
or A2. I'm
So
sorry.
I guess, it goes back to the fire station's a fire station.
Yeah.
And when they have the fireman's ball, does that mean it's a banquet hall?
Yes, it is. That's a fact.
And so
That is
does
a
that
fact.
change their classification?
or
Well,
they
it
rent
should.
or when they rent it out. Or
Yes.
But they have a big ball.
Does it change their classification?
The way
What's
I understand
primary
the
use?
rules,
Primary
yes.
uses, it's a museum.
For permit uses, it's a museum. If we have a banquet, then it changes
Changes the whole thing. Same
Terry,
thing
can
with
you
the
put
fire station.
Can you put the A3 definition back up on our screens
Mhm.
here? So, and it, when we're rating things for insurance, we look at the primary use. The other classes are ancillary. Now, that being said, in work comp, we look at the primary use, but we take the highest classification for the risk. Amusements, arcade.
This document is called the Building Code Commentary, and its purpose is to assist in interpreting what the code's intent is trying to be. Sometimes it's very helpful. Other times it makes it more confusing. And so that's what this document is. It recites what the code says, and then it goes on and gives examples of sort of how to apply the code. And so the A2 use, it basically says when you when you consume food and or drinks or both, then that changes the use of it. It doesn't mean that you can't have an A3 with some type of food establishment, but again, you have to look at occupant loads and square footage. It kicks you back to the same scenario in question. At the end of the day, God forbid something happens and we all have to sit there and answer questions about whether we allowed a use that shouldn't have been allowed. We're always, and the code is the minimum standard. And so I don't have the ability to interpret something in my mind that is black and white for me. So that's kind of where I stand. That's why we're here discussing this.
So I think if the purpose is to determine whether or not the board is willing to change the classification based on what they've determined the use to be, and whatever the outcome of that will determine what happens next, right? So if it's determined that the classification is an A3, then it'll get resent back to plan review under the A3 classification. They'll review the plans that way, and that will remove the requirement of concern. If the board does not agree with that and believes that it should have remained the classification of an A2, then the next steps would be that we'll have to come back and we'll have to talk about either those alternatives and other things. So, but that's where we are.
The applicants feel they're A3, and then they go back, and then they go through all the safety concerns and the plan review. Is what you say, because they feel that they're A3.
Well, then it goes back through plan review as an A3
And
with
then-
different requirements.
And then all those other requirements get.
So
besides
the
requirement.
main, obviously the main requirement, right, is in reference to the sprinkling requirement, which I think the rest of them, were more minor concerns that the architects have addressed in the plan review. So if that helps the board make any level of determination.
Well, and I would like to take one brief moment to just explain, we have tried our very best to abide by all the rules. We started this process a year ago, and it has not been an easy process, and we have, they always say that projects take twice as long and cost twice as much, and our experience has been it's taken 3 times as long and cost 3 times as much. And like I said, we have been truly trying to do our very best with it. And it's very discouraging when we're asked to spend who knows how much, 40,000, 50, 60,000 to put in a sprinkler system in a steel and cement building. So that is my 2 cents. I just hope that is taken under consideration, that the building itself inherently, I feel, should have a lower fire risk as a, cement, steel. So.
If you want to give me time to meet with the fire district and get their input as to where they stand on it. And depending on what they say, is there another scenario that they would accept? Because at the end of the day, as somebody has said, I'm not fighting the fire if something happens. They are. So their degree of comfort is probably more important than my degree of comfort, to be honest with you, because they're the ones that got to respond to calls. And so I know you want an answer, but it's one option we can do. We can also look at whether we can look at other exiting options and whether that helps reduce the concern. I don't know. We're going to have to be creative because the code doesn't address that, right? We have to look at there's a calculation for how long it takes to exit a building. For a normal person travels a certain speed to exit a building, and then when you add things that can reduce that speed, then we look at what that is. And so there's the code is based on a calculation of exiting. So I'm just throwing it out there that we could, I hate to say we'd come back, but I don't know what else we would do. Just at least we
Well,
would.
otherwise, you have to make a determination.
Well, I
Otherwise,
feel like it's fair to explore all the options before, look, I don't know how you're going to vote. So I don't know how you're leaning, but I think you would prefer to have all the facts as well.
Aaron has asked us if we're able to make a designation of primary use. Is the board saying that they're not able to do that tonight?
Correct. That's how I feel.
But then I would move that this matter be
I don't
continued
either. It was pretty clear.
to the 8th of July at 6:30 p.m. for additional consideration and to allow for additional information from the local fire districts and possibly from the museum to be presented at that time.
The information that you're going to get from them is not going to help you determine the primary use, though.
Yeah, that'll only help if
they build it.
the primary use is whether this appeal is denied, then those avenues will be important because that will be how to mitigate the potential for fire sprinklers. But
why wouldn't we get all that information to help us make it?
and I just want to clarify too, District 2 typically refers to BNF in the plan review process because their individual is not certified to do plan review. So that is why at this point, District 2 is aware, and they've had conversations with the museum. They've had a handful of conversations with Ken, but not as to this deeper level because of that reason.
But District 2 had that letter for the hangers with the audible sounds outside and everything. So somebody must have.
Mr. Roll call.
Go ahead, please.
So I'll draw the distinction, and Ken, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, the deviations that were done for the hangar residences there, that wasn't about what use classification is this. That was getting down. They already determined
I understand
the
that.
use
Well,
classification.
I mean, everyone's
and now
asking
we're-
about sprinklers but somebody there made that decision when we did that. But I think Christy, I think you were there too when they did that sounding thing for the groundwater for the county, and the museum was open, but there had to be over 1,000 people there. Nobody brought any. It was well over 1,000 people in and out of there. There was food. There was no alcohol. There were people in and out. There were county officials standing on chairs giving speeches. There were the press there. There was the TV there. It was quite the to-do.
I
But
think the
the
difference
people were also looking at the museum items as well as there for the
I
press
think
release.
the difference there is when that was classified 20 something years ago, this was not required. This code wasn't in effect. Now this code is in effect. Now you have to abide by this code.
And
And
they're saying this is how they're using the building. I mean, if I sold them insurance tomorrow, they would tell me how they were using the building, and that's how I'd classify it.
But
Then
they're a
Well-
non-conforming use because the code back then is not the code today.
Well, and to how I'm understanding this document, right, is the building has a use. Primary is museum. But when you put in a banquet or a party, then now it has to default by the rules to the other code enforcement, which would be an A2. Says it right there in that paragraph. It's almost highlighted. So
So
if we had to vote this now, based on the evidence of what I'm reading, I can't do that.
well, I mean,
Anything change your mind then? Whatever Ken research it? That's my question. Like
If-
what
if-
they're going to
if-
ask.
let's
if
look at
the-
this
yeah,
these
if-
definitions here. How many of these does have to fit? Art gallery, museum pieces are art, right? Community halls, that building is used all the time as a community hall, all the time. Dance halls, people dance at the murder mysteries and the other things all the time. Exhibit halls, things are on exhibit there all the time. It's not a greenhouse, not a gymnasium. There's no pool. There's no tennis court. Lecture hall. There are lectures that happen there all the time. There are clubs that meet and give lectures. So how many of those classifications does it take to fit that?
The distinction is food and drink. So you can have these other uses, and if you add food and drink to those uses, they move to A2.
What type of food or drink? Is it catered in? Is it cooked? Is
It
what
doesn't
is
it
there
doesn't
di-
distinguish.
doesn't
It
distinguish that.
doesn't, right?
So I would looking at this risk.
Yeah, you could debate that. I
Yeah, I mean,
I
looking
agree
at
with
this
you.
risk, they're bringing the food in. They're not cooking it. There's no kitchen there.
It,
There's no triple basin
it's
sink.
no,
there's
but it's
hood,
the
there's-
activity within. It's the activity within the building.
I mean, we could say me bringing a bag of chips in the place is food
Exactly.
You could.
from that very broad
would-
definition of food.
Exactly.
Without,
I would not interpret it that way, but yes, you're correct. I would
I mean,
say
one could
have
argue
all the
that.
chips you want and popcorn. I don't care.
Yeah, one could argue
Right.
that. I mean, it's food. Right?
No,
So
you
I
could.
think you have to take a reasonable stance at it.
Well, and my reasonable stance is they're not preparing the food; they're bringing it in.
However, in black and white on page 3, right, the last paragraph, starting with 2 of the specific uses listed as group A2, it says it right there. It says it right there.
Dining and drinking establishments.
Yeah. So then if you continue on,
Dining is cold
yeah.
cut sandwiches. Dining. I mean,
that's what it says.
drinking.
The presence of distracting lights, sounds, and decoration, along with the potential for alcohol consumption, create an assembly environment that is best addressed under Group A2.
So are you saying every church should be group 2?
If that's
Village
what they're
hall.
being used for, a banquet,
hall,
then yes.
Village hall.
The fire station.
The fire
Then
station.
yes.
Street dance.
Yes. The way this reads, the way what it's telling me, yes. If that's the truth, then yes.
Well, the argument
It
was if we
defaults
do
to the-
this for
to the
them, then
worst.
we have to do it for others. What we
It
already are.
It defaults to the worst case scenario.
then it doesn't seem to me that the board should have a difficult time making a motion and deciding. Sounds like we should be able to,
Well, I
come
mean,
to some conclusion.
I want to help the airport too. I love the museum. I've been there several times. I like it, right? But I don't want to break the rules. And the rules are clear right there on page 3, staring us right in the face.
I would. Those are broad definitions. I mean,
So,
Well,
I mean,
they are.
go ahead.
Another thing I think for the board to consider as you guys go and weigh all of this again, because ultimately this is going to be a policy decision for you guys as to how you guys choose to categorize this. But with regards to any prior building and how it's being used, and Ken, correct me if I'm wrong here, again, those designations were designated back then, right? So they're going to carry that through, as their designation. Right. So it's almost to the extent they changed it to a certain extent and they maybe incorporate some different types of uses, their use is still going to be default to what they were originally classified as.
Yeah, so this building originally, my understanding is it was a hangar originally, right? And we're converting it into this particular use. And the code addresses when you do an alteration to a building or change its use.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a lot of times when you change the use of the particular portion of the building, then all these requirements
Kick in.
come into play.
You almost lose your grandfathering, so
You-
to speak, or you
Yes.
lose your original.
You lose your nonconformity. Yes, So, that's correct.
Gotcha.
I mean, the AI thing defines dining as the act of eating a meal, particularly the main or formal meal of the day, which usually occurs in the
Normally, there's when?
in the evening. That's
Dinner,
Gemini.
dinners, things like that. Have those. They're gonna probably have lunch. They're gonna have breakfasts.
right. Right. This says
Right.
the I was
They
just.
have
What is the
breakfast
definition of
downtown,
dining and drinking establishment?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a drinking establishment. It's being catered in.
But it's
It's still,
alcohol.
I mean, Owen, I understand what you're saying, but you're still, whether you cook it there or prepare it there, you're still consuming it there.
Right.
Well, then we better go knock on the doors of every other establishment in the whole village. Then.
Well,
I'm not saying
mean-
that people are following the rules. I'm saying if we as a board, in good conscience, we can't change what's telling us right there in black and white.
we in good conscience already know where this is already happening. So.
But those are already designated
those-
once. These guys are asking for a redesignation. Now, if
Oh,
all those
correct.
other ones that's happening it
Maybe they should
came and asked for a redesignation.
Is that what you're
would be
saying?
in the
Maybe
same
they
boat.
maybe they just shouldn't have asked.
Maybe.
Sounds like they would have been better off.
Owen, what are you trying to say?
Well, that this goes a long way in this county.
So where does that leave us?
I could vote this. I mean,
I could vote it.
Someone make a motion.
move for a vote.
What are you
Yeah, we need a motion.
You need a motion.
I make a motion to move to vote.
Well, no, no,
Vote on
to
what?
what?
Oh,
Yeah.
I would move to change the designation to A3 as requested by the applicants and the primary use people.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Sine. Whoa.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Sine Hubbard. Owen Costanza.
Yes.
Mark Vance.
No.
Dan Cheek.
No.
Jeff Goings.
Or abstain.
And Dave Allgood.
Yes.
That's a 4. Abstention
Yeah.
goes with the positive votes.
But he
The abstention goes with the positive.
Yes.
It's no, an abstention doesn't necessarily. Right.
We've had this argument many times in the last decade.
At the end of the day, to pass this thing, you need an affirmative of 4 votes. You need a
The
majority.
Christy
abstain-
Richardson.
Well, it looks like you guys got 3, so.
The abstain
Chri-
goes with
Christy Richardson.
Call.
Yep. Well, hang on. What's our vote count right now?
3,
Three.
no.
3, 2.
2, and
And one-
abstention.
and then one
abstention. Yep.
So half of the board is voted in favor, so that does trigger a situation where the mayor is allowed.
Yep. All on you.
When half the board is voted in favor, then you get to vote.
All on you.
I get to vote?
So
Yes.
do you want me to call you again?
No, I don't want you to call me again.
Okay.
I don't want you to call me again.
Why are you guys in such a hurry to move
Because
this?
I mean, to be honest, they've been fighting this out.
Okay, but
been-
you
they've
know,
been-
I could probably made it better.
Okay, but we're in
on
row.
my
We're
terms.
Yeah.
yeah.
Motion's already been made.
Yeah, all right. Okay. You guys are rushing. Seems like it.
I'm gonna vote yes.
There you go.
Before.
Can go with the winning vote. It doesn't always.
It doesn't matter. It passed. It passed. Can we?
In the end all be all go right now. You always need 4 votes.
Motion to change classification from A2 back to A3 passes.
Yay.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned at 7:27.
That's not personal for me either. It's just, that's the way it's written. I didn't write it.
Right, they have to go back to
Well, like you said, it
We
reverts
want
back
to
to
start.
a greater fee.
Jeff, where are you going? We have to at least start the other meeting. And then, because we have to go in executive.
I'm just really confused.
Yeah, if it ever comes to a deposition, we won't have to do
It's
it.
like herding cats.
Mm-hmm. Let's call our meeting to order Wednesday, June 24th. It's 7:28. Roll call.
Jeff Goings, Mark Van,
Here.
Dan Cheek,
Here.
Christy Richardson,
Here.
Attorney Zito,
Yes. Here.
Owen Costanza,
Here.
Dave Allgood,
Here.
Sine Hubbard, Ken Garrett, David Howe, and Chris Dopkins.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No phone participation. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Owen, second by Sine. All in favor?
I got a question
Please, go ahead.
on items 12 and 13. Should they not be reversed? You're going to pass a resolution before you discuss a component that could have an impact on the resolution?
We've already discussed it.
Yeah, it's already been.
It's already been discussed multiple times.
Yeah,
But then why do we have a motion to discuss or approve?
that's what they always are.
Hmm?
But that's generally how we always list them. But
So the item 12 is just the appointment.
Yeah.
And then you can think of item 13 as then, now that she's been appointed, on what are her actual employment terms.
yeah,
So step one is you got to appoint her first.
Mhm.
And then step two, you're figuring out what are the terms of her employment then.
Okay, it makes sense unless somebody said, no, I don't agree to the term.
That's
Which-
possible.
It's possible.
She could decline the terms.
I was just
Okay.
questioning the order.
okay.
I've seen it happen.
I've seen it happen
Any
too.
other
I
questions?
have seen it happen.
Barring none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, tonight's agenda is passed. Motion to discuss and approve Board of Trustee meeting minutes from June 10th, 2026.
So moved.
Second,
By Jeff. Second came from where? They beat you, Owen? Okay.
pick one.
All right. Any questions? Barring none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any approved? Sorry, I didn't get my mouse back. I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting minutes from June 10th pass. Any public comment? Any sheets?
No.
Nope. Okay. Motion to go into an executive session pursuant to 5 Illinois CS 122, security procedures, school building safety and security, and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual and threatening or reasonable potential danger to safety, employees, students, staff, public or public property, and 5 Illinois CS 122, sleep 11, pending litigation when an action against, affecting, on, or behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent.
Motion to go into executive session pursuant 5 ILCS 120/2C8.
Second,
By Owen. And we need a roll call on that one, correct?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Jeff Goings.
Yes.
Dave Allgood.
Yes.
Dan Cheek.
Yes.
Owen Costanza.
yes.
Sine Hubbard. Mark Vance.
Yes.
We're going to enter into executive session at 7:32 p.m. and then we'll come back, okay? So I'm going to have to ask the gallery to step out, please. That's
Well, hang on. Ask the IT people. to stay.
IT people get to say. IT people get to say. You get to stay.
We're really talking about this shit.
Yeah, you can use it. Well, you can't, you don't use that during an executive session, because they can get it out there. So. And they don't get to hear. Yeah, that's fine. So just make sure the mics are.
Oh, yeah, crap. need to start and then just call.
Oh, thank you. Can I take a bite?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. Let me start recording. Okay, you're good. Go. I'll have to do a roll call.
We need a roll call, please, coming back into our regular meeting.
Mark Vance.
Yes.
Here.
Here.
Dan Cheek.
Here.
Jeff Going. Christy Richardson.
Here.
Aaron Zito.
Here.
Dave Allgood.
Here.
Owen Costanza. Sine Hubbard. Ken Garrett. Chris Hopkins. David Howe.
All right. So, department reports. Any questions for Miss Miller on the collector report?
What are you working on?
Barring none, we'll move on. Engineering report. Any questions for Chris? Or Chris, any additional information you want to add? Okay.
Is Frontier coming in right behind Surf now? Pretty soon?
Yes, they have already started.
Oh, did they?
They're on Mighty Road right now. They're gonna work State Street, full part of town. I think that's their direction right now.
And we've seen signs south of town.
Mm-hmm.
They, yeah, now that you say that, they did, put Julie's in for Prairie and the Knolls.
Usually we're going to go fire. So,
Yeah.
Any other questions for Chris? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chris. Any questions for David and the Public Works report?
Just out of curiosity, was that patch up to par?
For a temporary patch, it was solid, but it's not.
Barring no other questions? Okay. Tests was sent out to the board. Were there any questions or comments on the test report that was sent? It did notate the SCADA progress, so which was at like 95%, and then they're coming out in mid-July.
Late July.
Yeah.
We're on budget.
Okay. So, okay, just so we have that. All right. Motion to discuss and approve Resolution 2026-35, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, approving the proposal from dock contractors to supply and install fencing at Whiting and Beaver lift stations for a total of $20,290. Motion by Owen.
Second.
Second by Dan. David, would you like to take this one, please?
Yep, so as we discussed during the budget stuff, we have 3 lift stations right now that do not have fencing around them. 2 of them are easily acceptable. Third one is countryside. Unfortunately, that's gonna take a little bit more planning, as well as clearing of some woods to take care of that one. We called Doc Fence out. They've done multiple other fences in the neighborhood, in the village. They've done 2 lift station fences.
the South Plant, the dog park, and the Escrow shop. These are the numbers he threw out for both of them. He did give a hand sketch of what these will look like, but one will be for Whiting Road, and that one total is $96.90. And then the Beaver Drive lift station, which is right there at the dead end of Ray and Beaver, which we've actually had some vandalism issues with. That one came in at 10.6.
20 by 60 by 20.
And I did find it'd be the same style as our other so chain link. You have a picture of that one, did I send that?
Yeah, I thought you sent it. Yeah, there.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's basically what we're looking to do there. At those two locations.
Go ahead, Mr. Allgood.
So this is the one that we deferred to this evening.
Yes.
And my questions at that time were, is the 20,290 over the budget that was allocated for it? And did we let bid for this, or did we receive 3 quotes?
We did not. I went to Doc Fence because of the history of working with the village. They are slightly more than what we budgeted for each individual lift station. That was on me. I used numbers from 5 years ago, the last time we had a fence installed. Obviously, numbers have gone up slightly, so they're both roughly $2,000 more than what was budgeted. But in total, it is less than what we budgeted for the 3 that are needing to be done. We're pushing the countryside lift station down the road because, again, that's going to take a little bit more figuring to get that one in. It's not just a basic rectangle fence. That one goes downhill multiple levels and is surrounded by woods. So essentially what we're doing is incorporating these 2 into the budget number for all.
Can I ask why we're not doing it in-house?
What's that?
Why we're not doing it in-house?
None of my staff has ever done this.
Get opportunity to learn.
Is there any reason why we didn't collect at least 2 more bids on this from the last meeting to this meeting?
I was not informed that we were looking for more bids.
I had made that
I wasn't.
a question at the last board meeting that I was concerned about seeing only one number, not seeing a competitive bidding process take place.
We can collect more bids if that's what the board would like to do. Again, because they have done numerous projects within the village. They do good work. Their numbers are solid numbers. Adam's great to work with. He's never steered us wrong. They've been responsive when we've had issues. There were some issues with Edson Road fence, and he was out within a few days to take care of that for us. So I reached out to Doc based on previous work. So
Doesn't this
if the board
match?
would like me to get more quotes, I can.
Doesn't this meet the threshold where we're supposed to get bids?
25,000.
25.
25 for the formal competitive bid process.
Yeah.
Right, but if,
Essentially, I'm asking to waive the 3 quotes on this project, but if we would like to not do that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought somebody mentioned a 17,000 number at the last meeting. This is 20,000. We're more than 10% over. I'm going to ask for 2 more bids.
Right, I think David referred to as old bids that were from a few years back.
the budgeted numbers were reflective of numbers that I used. I didn't account for the increase in
Materials.
costs. That was on.
Those concrete guys.
Yeah, concrete.
Gotta submit them posted. Gotta submit them posted.
I can't believe I put the first.
Are there any other questions, or what does board want to do?
So you have a motion and a second right now. So if the board wants to have David get 2 more quotes, then a motion to lay this over to the next meeting would be in order. If you guys want to vote on it, then you guys can vote on it.
I don't think you got a lot of other companies in the area, do we?
I would extend it to a little bit longer. One thing I'm finding out with obtaining quotes right now is companies are delayed in being able to get out to put numbers together for a lot of things. run into that issue. So I would say we might have to wait till the second meeting in July or the first meeting in August. At this point.
Did you have this scheduled, David, with Doc?
What's that?
Did you have this scheduled with him already?
As far as doing the work?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, he's doing a repair for us, and so he was out. And I had to go to the other lift stations, and he was able to get quotes the day that they were looking at the repair.
Okay. Yeah, fencing is expensive, you know.
So either we need a motion to lay it over or we need to vote.
What do you want to do here?
I want to lay it over.
Okay, make a
So I
motion.
would move that we lay over this item 7, resolution 2026-35 to our next meeting pending
Second.
additional information.
Can we do it to the 24th? He's asking for.
He was asking for
Because
extension.
they're having difficulty
I would
getting
give,
bids.
let's go to the second meeting of next month to give him time to collect.
So that would be the 22nd.
Yes.
So we have a motion to lay over till the 22nd of July. I need a second.
Owen
Aye.
seconded.
Owen second. All right. There's money, so we have to do a roll call, correct? We have to do a
Or
vote.
just a motion to lay over?
Yeah. Or can I do an all in favor? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion item is laid over. Motion to discuss and approve ordinance 2026-16, an ordinance of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, authorizing the disposal by sale of a certain personal property owned by the Village of Poplar Grove.
Move to approve ordinance 2026-16.
Motion by Owen, second by Jeff. So ultimately, this is basically just the formal so that we can sell the 2011 Chevy Silverado truck, which has pretty much been sold already, but so that we can formally go through that process.
We went on iBid, it was on iBids for about 3.5 weeks, it closed last Friday. iBid was. I feel like we came out pretty solid on the truck that I spent 74 on.
So
Wow.
any
I
other,
like iBid.
yeah, we're drinking.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard, Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Dave Allgood.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-16 passes. Motion to discuss dog park and Sherman Oaks Park equipment.
Move to discuss dog park and Sherman Oaks park equipment.
Second by Sine. All right, as outlined in my memo, we, in the budget cycle, had put aside $40,500 to do upgrades to the dog park. And an additional 10,000 was budgeted for shade structures. And so what you have now is we went to Cunningham, is where we've been getting all of our park equipment, and having them put together a quote on the pieces. So I went through and looked at what they offered in terms of dog agility items, shade structures, and went ahead and gave you some pictures there so you can look at the different pieces. Ultimately, this is basically a 5-piece agility set, and then it has a leash post, which basically would go on the inside of the dog park area where you can hook your dog up and take them down and that sort of thing. There's a double-sided water fountain. Staff has reviewed all of the installation for this equipment and was able to save the village funds by being comfortable doing the installation of all of this equipment. So the quote that you see at the very bottom line does notate the shade structures. So there's a shade structure inside of the dog park, and then one that will go to Sherman Oaks Park as well. So this is well under budget this way. So
it's 33,000 for the equipment, and then our guys are gonna install it.
Yep.
We even got water over there?
Yeah.
There is the main valve, roughly 10 feet from where we would put the water pump. So we'll extend service line and then put a rise up to the pump.
And we'll do this ourselves. We'll do this.
Yes,
ourselves.
we're gonna do this one now.
It's got that nice excavator.
So then the two aerial maps towards the end just kind of give you the proposed areas where the agility course will go. The green structure is the shade structure at the entrance that you see there. And then the secondary picture is where the shade structure is proposed in Sherman Oaks Park.
And let everyone know what we're saving on labor by having this.
Here.
meeting.
Right, so the labor cost was over,
Sherman
a
Oaks.
little over $29,000.
Is that what's going on Sherman Oaks, that one?
They're both the same. And I chose them because of the coloring of both of them, but yeah. So
Oh,
they're,
the dog gets this, dog park
Eh,
gets one and Sherman Oak gets
correct.
one?
Correct.
I thought we were gonna do a triangle one.
like the,
No? Alright. That's nice.
unless that's what you guys want to see, then I'll go back and quote it, but.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, so by the staff being comfortable doing the installation, it saves over $29,000.
I bet they could do it. One by eight.
So it's 29. Then all
Okay,
for
cool.
this 33.
No, so 33. This number is actually just all of the equipment cost. The original quote we received was over 60-some thousand. Yeah. So, and that a majority of that, like 50% of it was labor cost. So.
Very nice. Lucky dogs. Poplar
Mhm.
Road.
Any other questions or concerns?
Since you're looking at water, Caldwell has asked me about putting a wash up there. He said he'd give it to us for free, so you might want to check into it since you're running water there anyway. I had told him in the past we didn't have water there.
Oh, like when I his dog washes.
Yeah, he said he put it in for free. Well, he's going to collect the revenue off of it, but I mean, still.
Yeah, I can absolutely reach out to Keith and see if that's something.
Put a dog wash in the park.
Well, yeah, the other ones Belvedere have them, and the other ones, other place have them.
All right, so then the board is comfortable this coming back as a resolution?
Yes.
I got a dog when I retire. I got a few more
Okay.
years.
All right, we're moving on.
Where's them damn chickens?
Motion to discuss and approve check disbursements for payment scheduled to be paid on June 25th, 2026, the amount of $21,469.40 in AP checks, $26,499.48 in EFTs, and an estimated payroll of $22,500 for a total of $70,468.88.
So moved.
Motion by Jeff.
Second.
So that was close. Second by Dave. Any questions on the invoice register that's been provided? Barring none, roll call.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard, Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Owen Costanza.
Check disbursement in the amount of $70,468.08 passes. Motion to discuss and approve ordinance 2026-15 and ordinance amending section 8-13-1 of the Code of Ordinances in the Village of Poplar Grove to increase the permitted maximum number of hens on any property within a residential area.
Move to discuss and approve ordinance 2026-15.
Motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Owen.
Question.
Yes.
Is this something that had to go back to be reviewed by planning and zoning?
Yes, it did.
And did it get reviewed by planning and zoning?
It did. And I'm sure Ken will give us an update.
Yes, it's in the zoning code, so requires a hearing before the planning and zoning committee. That's why it went to planning and zoning. So text amendment, they approved it. There was not a lot of discussion with it. It was 6 to 10. We increased the coop size to accommodate additional chickens or hens. That was pretty much the extent of it.
And keep in mind, we haven't had any complaints from
There has not been,
since
No.
we started this program.
So the ordinance here does specify I did go back and watch that meeting, and there was a significant amount of discussion over the increasing of space from 5 to 10 feet. And I know that there was some debate as to, well, why do you have to go to 10 feet versus 5 feet? And what that will obviously increase costs for those who wish to meet that obligation to increase the size of their coops if they want them. So if you could talk a little bit more about that.
So the current hen ordinance allows up to 6 hens, and the criteria is that you need 5 square feet per hen in the coop area, and then there's a run area, and that can't exceed 100 square feet. So that's where it's at. When it came before the committee, I recommended that we continue with the 5 square feet in the coop area, and then increase the run area. As you accommodate more hens, they should have more room. Otherwise, there's fighting and cannibalism and all sorts of things. So we didn't we didn't recommend any setback changes. It's just an increase for the number of hens.
Okay. And during, I'm just curious. So if someone wants to go back and they want to have more and they want to make their coops bigger, right? Or whatever portion of it is, then are there coop to run capable of like closing them off? Like what do you do with the birds during construction?
Good question.
Okay. Because I don't remember there wasn't any discussion
we did not
of it.
discuss that part. I guess when somebody comes to apply, and I would think you would have a temporary holding area while they modify the existing one. Obviously, if it's a new one, we don't have that issue. But for existing ones, if they want to increase the number of hens, then it sounds like you'd have to have a holding area temporarily until you can construct the new area.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So current number is 6.
Current number is 6, correct.
And the maximum to be increased to
10.
10. Was there any discussion about a sunset clause on this?
No, there was not. It was based on, so currently the village has a limit of 15 permits. And we looked at the history since the ordinance was passed originally. And currently we have about 7 permits that are issued. It got up to 9, and then somebody decided they didn't want to do it anymore, and somebody moved. And so currently we're at 7. If it gets to be a situation where we're getting to that maximum amount and there are no issues or complaints, then we would recommend an increase.
And my question would be, would you think a sunset clause would be required? If my neighbor had 2 dogs, I'd be okay with that. If he had 8 dogs, I might have a problem. So if he had 6 chickens, no problem. But what if 10 chickens caused any more additional problem? We don't know if that's going to happen.
We don't know. That's true. And we, I guess if there were to be an issue, we could always come back and do another text amendment to reduce it. But we've had no really, to be honest with you, it's been seamless at this point. We've been running these permits for a couple years now. There's been no issues. So 10 seemed to be a reasonable increase. Of course, we can, if it becomes like everything, if there's an issue, then we'll address it.
There's no ordinances on dogs anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Any ordinance can be amended.
Mm-hmm.
We can reduce it. We don't need to go back to 46.
Any other questions?
Let's vote.
Okay, roll call.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Mark Dance,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Dave Allgood.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-15 passes. Motion to discuss and approve resolution 2026-36, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, appointing Catalina Kruttenberg as village treasurer.
Move to approve resolution 2026-36.
Motion by Owen, second by Sine. Any questions? It's exciting. Catalina's in the audience out there. Wait, Catalina. So excited. Barring no questions, roll call.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
Resolution 2026-36 passes.
Do we ever come up and say a few words?
No, let her be.
Yeah, let's get through her offer letter first.
Do I need a vote first?
It's gonna cost you, Jeff, if you get out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Anybody
It's been
tell
a
her
long
he's the
night.
finance chairman?
Come take the oath, Catalina. Well, wherever Carrie is.
Come on, Carrie.
Really?
Amy, can you take a picture and send it to me?
Let me take it. Hold on, Carrie.
Better? All right. Yeah, I, Catalina Krukenberg, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, the Charter laws and ordinances of the Village of Poplar Grove, and faithfully discharge the duties of Village Treasurer to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Welcome. Yay.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. All right. Let's have a motion to discuss and approve the offer letter from Catalina Krukenberg as village treasurer.
Second.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Mark. Any questions as to what has been provided in the packet? Barring none. Roll call.
Sine Hubbard. Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Owen Costanza, Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Jeff Goings.
Yes.
Did I miss anyone?
I don't think so. Offer letter for Catalina passes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We are excited. We are excited for first day, right? Okay. Motion to discuss the sign ordinance change.
Is this going to be like a 30-minute discussion? I mean, we've been here for a couple hours already.
Motion to discuss the sign ordinance change.
So moved.
By
Second.
Dave. Second by Dan. All right. Ken, kick us off.
Thank you, Christy. So we've been working on updating the sign code for the past year. And we developed a committee, and Dave and myself and Katie. We put a recommendation together. We forwarded that to the Planning and Zoning Committee. Planning and Zoning reviewed the existing sign code and then the proposed sign code. In the packet is also a list of significant changes to the code. And then the Planning and Zoning made some recommendations, approval with certain conditions. There were 4 conditions that they wanted us to address. They wanted us to add a definition for pylon signs. There was lengthy discussion about freestanding signs, which are basically pole signs. And the current ordinance only allows monument signs, not freestanding signs, even though there are a number of freestanding signs in town. And they recommended to remove the freestanding portion and in lieu of that, allow a pylon type of sign, which is basically the pylon sign hides the poles essentially. But this recommendation is basically a brick or stone foundation for the pylon sign, and then you could use it for multi-tenant signage. So that was one of the recommended changes. The second one was there was a considerable request from a lot of the farms that we have in the community, where they wanted to be able to advertise basically off-site signage or for off-site businesses. So we had developed a billboard section. We called it billboards, a billboard section. The committee did not like the billboard section and recommended that we remove the billboard section. So we did this in response to request to the village. So that is part of the recommendation to remove the billboard section. The third part was regarding a business that didn't have major visibility. So, for example, in the mall area, they don't have visibility on 76. They have street visibility, but anybody going down 76 doesn't know they're there unless it's a destination they're going to. So we made a change to allow an additional sign for those businesses if the owner allowed it to have an additional sign, which we currently don't have that ability. And with that regard, they want us to clarify which streets would that qualify for. And so we added the terminology major arterial street, which is basically 76 or 173. So that was a change there. And then we made some editorial changes regarding language which addresses, profane, obscene, other such undesirable language. We made some tweaks to be in compliance with the law, and Aaron helped us draft that section. And then there's a memo that highlights the changes. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, but those are the recommended changes.
And I'd like to interject too. So ahead of this meeting, and I thought it would be a good activity. I basically did a sign inventory today, just so that the board has an understanding of how many freestanding signs. So we'll define those freestanding as the signs that you can see the poles, whether they're whether they've got two poles on them. I have a single pole as well. So we have 28 freestanding signs currently throughout the village. We also have an additional 6 of them, which are like a single pole version. And then we have 8 that I would classify based on the criteria as what a pylon sign would be, and then 7 monument signs. And I just think it's important for us to recognize how many of those freestanding signs are there by forcing, and we can talk about the aesthetics, right? Businesses and entrepreneurs to have to basically, upgrade sign, whatever we ultimately decide, there's an additional expense. And the goal of us looking through this sign code was to try to remove obstacles to be business, friendly, so that incoming entrepreneurs did not have to take on another level of burden of expense if possible. We tried to remove signs that we don't feel necessary that we need to regulate, such as like the wind flapping signs and things of that nature that businesses use to market their products and services. So I wanted to just put that out as part of, and Dave, please feel free to, add your insights as you were on the committee as well.
Freestanding, you say?
So right now we have 28 that are freestanding. And you have 28 that are freestanding, so that's 2 poles basically that you can see that are exposed, and then you have another 6 that are a single pole that you can see. So what this would basically mean is that as those signs would get replaced, they would have to meet the new pylon requirements, and right now there's not even an option for a freestanding sign, right? In the old code, the way it stands is that you have to put in a monument sign regardless. So. And it didn't address, like I watched the meeting. So and there was questions too, as there are some places in town that if you had to replace those two, a monument sign, for example, there's not a way to meet, like whether they're sightline triangle requirements, there's not a way right now where they would be able to meet setback requirements, whereas pole signs and freestanding signs allow that greater level of flexibility. So
I would just add that the the gist of it was that the village a number of years ago had updated the sign code and wanted to have these low profile type signage. And, you know, it's subjective whether you think the freestanding signs are appropriate or not appropriate. There is a trend to make things more ground mounted to a certain degree. But from my perspective on the committee, I think we were looking for more flexibility since we already had a number of them. And there's a significant cost difference because I have to do an entire foundation now on the monuments. So we were trying to open it up to say the business owner can choose which route they want to go. So, but I'm just giving you the full story because the committee wanted to keep it the way it was, but add pylon signs to the mix.
questions for Ken? Concerns? Otherwise, what will happen is if there are no changes, then this will come back in ordinance form for us to pass. There's no other changes to what has been presented.
I think that the committee spent a fair amount of time, over a year, to author something that was suitable for the current village needs. There was a lot of housekeeping done on this document, and there was a lot of things that were taken into consideration in this document. And part of that was existing, future, was, you know, past, and, you know, there was just a lot of stuff that was absolutely considered. Without being able to sit down and really go through these recommended changes, I would be inclined to reject all the requested changes and adopt it as it was authored.
So you were not in agreement with any of the planning and zoning recommendations? Is that what you're saying?
I would need a little more time to review it. I mean, this was a year-long project, and now they're going to ask. They're asking for these 4 items, and I would like to see what these 4 items impact, because I will tell you there are portions of this ordinance that are so tightly wound that one change could cause a domino effect.
That's what I was asking, just making sure I heard you right. You're not in agreement with their recommendations.
I'm not.
Hey, you're
No.
on the committee. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah, no, I without further review, extensive review of this, no, I'm not in agreement with it.
There are parts I'm not in agreement with either.
Well, you two are on the committee. That's why I wanted your opinion.
So
yeah,
like,
I was. Yeah, I wasn't there, so I didn't know how you felt about I didn't know how you felt about them now.
Well, you wouldn't believe how bad Ken got beat up by the committee.
It was quite enjoyable.
So
It's much, I would say, the gist of the sign ordinance is much more business friendly than it was. And that's just talking from a code guy that wants to be strict, right? So it is much more business and user friendly.
And it's a lot cleaner. There were a lot of parts of the ordinance that were cobbled together over years and years that made it so contradictory that there was no way you could enforce parts of it.
well, I guess would this be a situation where we'd send it back with our recommendations?
I honestly don't think that it will change the outcome of P and Z, based on what I watched, right, and their position. I think the biggest one for me, and Dave, I've had a chance to talk extensively with Ken over the P and Z changes, but like not allowing a freestanding sign. So just because we don't like poles, right? Like you're not going to allow them at all. Like I just think that that's extreme, right? And the pylon, yes, it's a pole sign, but then you're forced to do something. As long as the poles are kept in maintenance, right? I don't care if I can see the pole if it's well maintained.
Right.
I don't think that should be a negative impact, and I don't think that takes away aesthetically from the look we're trying to have throughout the village. So that's one area that I'm in disagreement.
And to go one step further, I'm not a big one for forcing an economic disadvantage on the businesses based on aesthetics.
Right.
Well, these are just their recommendations. We don't have to abide by their
That
recommendations.
is absolutely correct.
Can I just add the fourth recommended change is a legal matter. You should keep that in. Just before and Aaron, you should address it.
So there was one cleanup language, and that had to do with issues of prohibiting signs that are obscene and or profane. So we just tightened up that language. So that one I would recommend that you guys keep. At the end of the day, the recommendations that come from PZC in the most bare bones simple terms for you guys to consider are they don't want to allow billboards. They don't want to allow freestanding signs, lollipop signs, or two-legged signs. Okay. And then in the alternative to those, they said, well, if we're gonna take away lollipop signs and we're gonna take away two-legged signs, we'll give you the pylon sign, which is nothing more than a two-legged sign that's wrapped, with some sort of there. So they'll give that back there. That's it. That's really that's the gist of their changes.
I think from a national, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, but we can overvote whatever. Anyway.
I think from a national perspective, there is movement to do different types of signage, and low profile is a trend that happens. But at the end of the day, it really depends on the community. And I've talked to a number of other consultants who have addressed this situation in other communities, and really it's the makeup of the community that really drives whether you want to allow it or not allow it. So we took it to the committee, they made their recommendations, and it's in your hands at this point.
I'd be willing to concede on the profanity portion of the changes, but the other changes, no.
How does the board feel about billboards?
About the what?
Billboards. That's the other area of contention.
Depending on size.
So there was in what, right? So like when what the internal committee had drafted was there was a permitting process for them that had a higher portion to it and an annual fee for them. There was only an allowance for one within the Route 173 from Poplar Grove Road to 76, and then another one would be allowed somewhere between the corner of 173 and 76 and down. So we weren't allowing 5, 6, 7 of these things. We used the size based on the size that we believed the billboard that you do see farther down on 76 as you exit the village, and that billboard was a use for it. So there was a lot and you don't see it in here because it's not in the original language, but that would be the other portion. Does the board have qualms? Do you not want to see any billboards whatsoever? Really, because then we could take that recommendation if that's the case, and then we could bring back,
So you said you're only going to issue 2, if even viable, and this was on request of like farmers wanting to lease out their land.
Yeah, we've had that, and we've had a handful of questions of other like billboard marketing usage of signs, and so we felt the best thing to do then is to create the option for the request if the board is willing to allow it. So that's why we drafted the language.
At the number 2, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't want to see them here. I mean, and if it's only going to be 2, it doesn't seem like it's worth the time to even incorporate it into the ordinance.
Thinking about some of the things that we've heard, from the residents and the way that they want to preserve, a farm.
That's what they said.
Look, I would agree with you.
Something in there.
Dan's not even listening to me, but
Because he
Of
never stops
course.
babbling.
I know.
We're gonna put you over there in the corner.
Your billboards not only are venues for advertisement, but a lot of billboards are actually businesses. You know, so you got to stop and think. Billboard owner is leasing a property from a farmer, so the farmer's making revenue. That billboard owner is selling that space to another business to promote their business, generate revenue. But then the billboard owner is also generating revenue. So at what point do you say we don't want any of these, or at what point do you respectfully decide to limit the number, to carefully limit the number, and limit their locations?
Well, everything you just said too was what we turned on for that solar farm. Renting, advertising, selling a product, eyesore. And that's what I consider this, is an eyesore. I'm not saying I disagree with you,
The
but
solar farm was turned down, I think, by this board's consensus that it was what the village had asked us to do. There were a lot of people here that were opposed to that, and we upheld our promises to support and guide them.
I think that's what
So.
we're considering though, is what would the, what will the residents think about billboards?
You're gonna see two of them. I don't think they're gonna say much. And depending on how big they are, they're not gonna be like huge like you'd see on 90. I don't think they would be.
Well, let's be full disclosure. The maximum sign today, maybe, okay, the maximum sign today is 150 square feet a business can have. The billboard section allowed up to 600 square feet. That's how it was written. And so just so you're aware of it's 4 times the current maximum size. So I just want you to know the full story. So currently we've had a number of requests and we are not able to allow them to do it. So this was a mechanism to allow it. You can play with the size, I suppose, but it was in response to requests. So
A regulated response.
But I mean, if the consensus is that that's not the case, I mean, well, we could take it out of the draft. The response from local farmers who have got, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I just go back to saying you can't make a farmer farm. What are you gonna do?
You know, so
People make money off of, you know, an eighth of an acre in a cell phone tower.
Yeah,
To the tune of
good money.
$50-some thousand a year.
A month, some places,
Yeah, so
depending on location. But
so we just need direction from the board of what they would like to see in the draft that we bring back.
you wanted more time to review, Dave, you said?
like I said, I'm willing to accept legal counsel's recommendation on the profanity portion. The rest of it, I mean, I can review it, but honestly, I think that what was authored was very clean.
Okay.
Roll call, man.
You know, it's a discussion. So
So Mayor, if it's okay,
please go ahead.
I think what I'd like to do is just kind of take just the points and then get a consensus so that I then have direction as to how to draft the ordinance.
Sure.
There. So with regards to billboards, do you guys want them or not want them? You want to allow them or not allow them?
I'm opposed. Well, it's just one person.
I'd say yes.
Okay.
I mean,
say no.
maybe limitation.
Well, they're limited. Very limited.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Let me qualify. You want to allow them subject to the presented limitations of 2 billboards, as Ken said, right? That's the
600 square feet.
at 600 square feet.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So hang on. Hang on one sec. I got 2 no's. I got 2 yeses.
It's these two.
Well, I mean, does that mean we make the people take it
I'm
down?
asking a question. Do we have to keep them at 600 for a billboard?
Nope. You could change the size.
So let's change the size, a little smaller.
300 square feet. I mean, what's the magic number?
450, 400.
You tell us.
Not as
It's a
well.
policy decision.
26. I didn't cut it up. Was it 20 foot by 32 and a half is like a rectangle? That's 650 square feet. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's
big.
Well, does the limit of two include the two that we already have? Are those in the village limits? I don't
They're
know.
not in
They're not
village
village
limits.
limits.
In the village limits.
Okay.
Nope.
I think those are county. That's
Like, we don't currently have any.
Okay.
We've had a number of requests. That's why we,
what location have they been requested for?
also are 173.
Mm-hmm.
173 and 76.
Yep.
Yeah,
And 76.
correct.
Dawson, up the corner. And what'd you say?
Said
And
from
from-
Poplar Road
from-
to 76 on 173.
Just that.
I'm sure
like,
people in
narrow,
that subdivision will love it.
you know.
By Sinead's house.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the one.
We'll put one right by Sinead's house.
30
Okay,
foot by
well,
20 foot
We
is
still
big,
need a
man.
direction.
So
I already gave you mine.
So-
No.
so
That's a good size.
You know, there's other communities that have them on 90 and they're not 600 square feet. Some are bigger, some are smaller. There's a relative number. If you are interested in doing it, I would probably fall somewhere like 300. It's probably where I would fall. But it's your call. I mean, again, we can always revisit it later if we feel like, oh man, I didn't know it was going to be that big or that small or whatever. It's always something you can revisit. But I recognize the fact also that once it's up, it's up.
Well, if he's gonna do an ordinance, we might as well put it in the ordinance right away.
So, I mean, that's where I would go with it if you want to allow them.
Parents say these guys do the ordinance.
Okay.
Sinead says no.
What do you say?
Yes.
We're split.
yes, with a change in the
With the
size.
change in the size of the thing to 300. I'll go
Would
with
you
that.
guys be agreeable to what? Would your yeses be similar to Jeff's yeses at
Sure.
300?
Yep.
Okay,
Fine.
so we got
Then that way
yes,
we
yes, yes at 300,
And three.
and then I got three
no.
no's.
Of course. Christie?
Christie said no.
No.
Oh.
Chrissy didn't say anything. Chrissy.
Sinead didn't say no?
We're on the spot again.
That must be three.
It's still worth hanging a
He's always
basketball.
saying no.
Yeah, but it's hanging a
This corner
basketball
over
up
here.
there, man.
It's an eyesore.
It really is. It's as long as a basketball.
It's
Even at
it's a
300
farm community. This isn't everywhere.
Drive through.
It's a nice little inviting village.
You can probably just have them cut the side cheddar. And
It's
that's-
the
Yeah.
size of a basketball.
All right, can we decide, guys?
I'm saying no.
Okay.
We all did, yeah.
It's three no's and-
It's tied.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
so-
I'm gonna say yes. I drafted it. I like the smaller size though.
You don't like the smaller size?
No, I do like the
Oh,
smaller size.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not like that's not my big like I gotta die on that hill. I'm more concerned about the freestanding signs versus monument signs than I am billboards. You know.
All right.
So
So I got direction on the billboards. How do you guys want to handle the freestanding signs? Right now, freestanding signs, whether single pole or two poles, are not allowed. You guys want to allow them or not allow them?
I'm fine with those.
I'm fine with
I'm
that.
fine with them too.
I'm fine with that.
All right. So allow.
I like the lot.
Would it be fair to say that everyone's okay with giving three options as far as the types of signs that would be allowed? If you want to put up a lollipop sign, that's fine. If you want to put up a two-legged sign, that's fine. If you want to put up a pylon sign, if you want to spend the money and make a nicer sign, and have it be two-legged but wrapped, and or a monument sign, sorry, that all four would be allowed?
Freestanding, freestanding, all four.
Okay, all four signs allowed.
I'm fine with it.
Man, most of us wouldn't be able to live here if Dan was on the board back then when the farmers sold all their land for subdivisions.
And then you guys were good with the changes about the profanity and obscenity
Yeah.
there. I think that's really it, right, Ken?
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
Go ahead.
And oh, sorry, and you guys are. I'm assuming you guys are okay with the fact that if the property owner along 76 or 173 allows for an additional sign to give visibility for those businesses that might be set back, you guys are okay with that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yep, that's it.
All right.
That was all four of them.
I think that gives us direction.
all right.
good
Thank
with
you.
that, Ken?
Pardon me?
You good with all of our decisions?
Yeah. I mean, you're going against the committee, which, it is what it is. So just want to be clear about it. What do you want to do? So
Having the option was more important to me than the size. Okay.
That's-
So,
yeah,
and
understood.
And I mean, if there's a question or an issue with size, that can be dealt with later in a variance.
Correct.
All right, we ready to move on? Last one? All right. Motion to discuss changes to the park ordinance.
Motion to discuss changes to the park ordinance.
Okay, motion by Dave,
Second.
second by Dan.
This is, I hope they're small ones, right?
Hmm, What?
They're little ones, right?
Like park? What? Yeah,
No,
this,
this is like could be another 25-minute conversation, right?
I don't think so.
I'm tired.
No one seconded it, so.
Yeah, go ahead. So Carrie's gonna start
Okay.
off for us.
So this ordinance,
Wait.
Do you have a second?
Yeah,
yeah,
Dan
I
second.
was in the middle of taking a drink when I said it.
this ordinance has not been touched since 1981. We did bring it to you in the beginning when we were in talks with Lions Park. We said we would bring it back once we have the agreement. We have the agreement. This is for just updating the regulations. So as you can see, I've kind of, yeah. Yeah, the memo summarizes it. It will also then allow us to have some type of fee schedule for outside of Alliance Park. So your tennis courts, the vets park. If someone wants to rent out Mansfield Park for a birthday party, this is what that's going to regulate.
Would the tennis court rent out the tennis court?
We have had multiple requests. Someone's kid wanted a pickleball birthday party, so they wanted to rent out the pickleball court so that only the birthday party kids could use it or reserve it. We have nothing right now saying that we allow that, we don't allow. I don't care if our reserve fees are $0. I just don't have any type of mechanism.
Well, I think that, renting it kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
Use the word reserve.
Reserve.
Okay, that's better.
Do you want to
Okay.
move forward to updating? I know Dan asked for this to be brought back.
Well, I was the green space.
Well,
was
this
the
is
issue.
it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the
Well, here's what happened. Because of junior tackle and now that the agreement's in place, we've got to figure out how we're going to handle the green space and the fees for that.
junior tackle is. We do have more time
Yeah.
because junior tackle is going to the high school now,
Oh.
so they are not going to use Lions Park.
They are for
this year.
practices,
They are there for practice.
but not for games, as I've
So
been told. So we're in process of trying to draft something with them, but we need the ability. So there's been other green space requirements. If a soccer team wants to come through, if cheer wants to come through, we just don't have anything to tell them or any process for them. And so now that stuff has been taken care of, we all said that we wanted to bring this back. So here it is. If we're not ready for it, we could just lay it over and we'll bring it back when we're more awake. So it's okay too.
Second.
Motion by Sine to lay over till when?
next meeting. she
Next
said.
meeting? All right, I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
July 8th. The second was by
Owen.
Owen. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, for the good of the village, Board of Trustees meeting, June 20, Village Hall will be closed July 3rd, 2026 for 4th of July. Board of Trustees meeting July 8th at 7 p.m. And then the 22nd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Jeff, second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned at 9:02.
Quick, trustees,
No,
real quick.
no.
I don't know if you guys seen, but we had a really good turnout. For the Neighbors Fest. No, I get it. I'm just saying. We had a lot of people, a lot of people enjoyed it. We got a lot of compliments.
Drag race was good. Yeah, about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were busy all night.
It was